Dr. Veera, Dr. Rashmi, Dr. Shivgunde, all the members, good afternoon to all of you. As Dr. Shivgunde already took this dais before us, and he is the joint director of that particular institute. So obviously, most of the things which are related to vocationalization of the education, many things he has cleared, which some of them were like my doubts as well. Still, we have some of the things which I feel that as per the process of informal process of vocational education, which was persisting in India, if we talk about that thing, so it comes to me that when we were having vocational education right from the period of like Mughals, Maurya Empire and all these places. Because the art, the sculpture and all the textile designing and all these things which came in those periods means that has no equivalence till today. So it started at that point. Formally it got introduced by the Britishers in some or the other form, but they actually reduced it to a very high percentage. And after independence, we are again on a big move for this particular process of vocational education, which was after the educational policy adopted in 1968. Now, we are not having a big discussion on simply the vocational education only. Basically, we are more focused on why it is not so successful in our country. Why we are keeping vocational education as a simple a part, like it is just to give some employment, which is like just told before also, like automobile mechanic, welder, or associated to only a lower social class only. When we talk about, okay, we are talking that in big schools and all the schools everywhere we are going to implement vocational education. What about a parent who is coming to that particular place and asking, okay, are you planning to make my child a welder? Are you planning to make my child an automobile mechanic? So there should be further perspective. As this was in my mind, he told that we are going to have some certification courses, degree courses for it. But when we are having vocational education, it should be related to a big insight. What will be the future? We see there is a, I visited a place, Bagh, which is near Kukshi. And it's very famous for Bagh printing. Saris and all these things, printing. All the people like they are just, vocational education is into existence. What about those people who are doing all those type of things? They are still living in a very small cottage and just earning, say, 50 rupees, 60 rupees per day. And that particular saris are exported in the European countries and other countries in thousands of range. So why we have not created a platform for these people wherein along with the training they are taught related to export management? Why don't we integrate vocational education into a further segment of education where they can use this education as a source of high income? Why we keep it on a low profile? It should be taken on a very high profile. Because if we talk about skill development, now, as of now, if we talk, why we take vocational education as a second stream? It should be academic, technical and vocational, all clubbed together, and then we'll get a proper weightage of vocational education in the external market as well. There are things going on, but I don't feel that it is sufficient enough to get students attracted towards vocational education. Not for students, rather parents be convinced for the vocational education of each and every child. This as per our vocational education, which is parallel to formal education. We are having a normal trend as given by sir. Now again, as a report was just now discussed, that according to National Sample Survey Organization, vocational training is received by only 10% of persons aged between 15 to 29 years, out of which, now after that 10%, 2% receive formal training, while non-formal training constitutes the remaining 8%, and out of the formal training received, only 3% are employed. So when we are having vocational education provided to a very small group, even after that they are unemployed. When we give it to a larger segment, so should we not plan more employment strategies first? This is a very big concern where we need to really work on that. What about getting the vocational education if we are saying that okay, it is for a proper job? Right now, only 2% have received the formal training, but out of that only 3% are employed. Remaining are not employed. So this is one aspect which really I feel that in vocational education this should be taken into account. Now we talk about the capacity building. Suppose as it is introduced into the schools and all the schools are required to follow that particular curriculum, and 9th and 10th and all these classes we have to take this as a vocational education. In that particular case, really we really need that there should be a very effective capacity building of teachers. Because when we talk about teachers and teacher education is not only required as per coming issue that is vocational, but even in the formal system of education. Right now we are having a scarcity of really good teachers in all the areas. So when we talk about vocational education, we will have to again look into a very important aspect, that it is highly required that teachers are trained to learn, wipe out and relearn as per the need of the time and requirement of the society. Now, in terms of capacity, means if we talk about the capacity building, really the process whereby individual groups and organizations enhance their abilities to mobilize and use resources in order to achieve their objectives on a sustainable basis. Now, there are human skills, changes in organization and changes in governance as well. As we have a very short duration of time, I'll just skip some of the things over there, and we just come to the important aspect that if we are coming on the formal vocational education curriculum, we not only require teachers, we need a group of teacher and trainer to impart both the type of education which will be practical as well as theoretical. And again, as there was an issue, it is really very important that it should have a very due certification, and that certificate should be valid, equivalent to those type of certificates or degrees which we are giving to engineering graduates. Vocational education people part in imparting this education. And what we really require is that when we talk about the major expectation for capacity building, pedagogical expertise, the learning cycle should be very well trained, teachers should be very well trained for this process, which include coaching, mentoring and facilitating the learner-centered, self-directed learning and learning at work, wherein child should get the opportunity to learn at working conditions also. Then learner focus, which should promote the self-motivated learning and innovation. Client orientation, as I told before, that there should be a learning, but after the vocational education, where is the client? Where should be the market? So that all the things are also very important. And ultimately the personal expertise of the trainer itself. So only I am emphasizing on both the parts, teaching as well as training. Because if we are saying that we want capacity building, then it should be in the terms of theoretical knowledge as well as it should be very, very vital in terms of practical knowledge. And unless and until we integrate these two things, and obviously I don't feel so that if there is a very good trainer in terms of practical knowledge, it is not necessary that he will be a very good teacher in imparting the theory knowledge as well. So we should have a plan that, okay, we should have streams wherein there should be equivalence. The trainer is also a certified person to be employed as a formal teacher in real educational schools. They should be allowed that, permissions. School should be allowed those permissions, okay, that this person is qualified as per the CBSE norms. Because ultimately when it comes, CBSE norms come on the sticking part of B8 or such type of qualification. So we should have an integration of both the process of teaching as well as training. So here I rest myself. Thank you so much.